as trainers to prepare our newly minted fighter pilots for the frontline aircraft such as the F-35 Lightning II or the F-22 Raptor, just to name a few. The T-38 in these particular capacities, John, fly as part of Air Combat Command. Our Beale Air Force Base aircraft actually serve as proficiency trainers for that of the U-2 Dragon Lady, the spy plane in which the 9th Recon Wing operates. And of course, the T-38s from Langley serve often as aggressors for those F-22 Raptors.
Absolutely, aggressors, so that our 5th gens can hunt them down and try and get them as they come in from the left. You're going to see how maneuverable they are and how quick they can be as a formidable adversary for some of our higher-end aircraft.
That's all they're doing?
Please stick around and absolutely come out this weekend for just more extremely amazing.
I think that's it for them.
Yeah. And if you have the pleasure, you might be friends with one of these individuals on these yachts out here and get an even closer look or a different perspective as these aircraft fly.
Honestly, that's enough. And we could always show, I know we were at Blue Angels yesterday, they can show that shit.
These aircraft that we just saw, the T-38 Talons, they're not demonstration aircraft. They're indeed active airplanes. They serve as part of their mission, as we were talking about, as pilot efficiency trainers and as aggressors, which means they're a little limited on what they can indeed do. But these flybys that we have the chance to see today very much serve as great proficiency training for these crews who have truly volunteered their time to be with us this weekend in Milwaukee. It's a very big deal indeed. And what a lot of people might not recognize is that when they do their flybys, we often use a system, if you will, of a protocol. It's a procedure called time on target, or TFR, or TOT. And it's the same type of tactic that's utilized to get munitions on time, on target, if the case may be. So these flybys great for that, because if they weren't doing it here in this particular training environment, they'd be doing it somewhere else outside of you. And we're very again pleased that they are with us this weekend.
You're 100% right, Lee. Absolutely. When we're flying around, especially when speaking about Langley Air Force Base, we have airspace out there the weekend, an opportunity to fly in. But coming over here and then bringing the assets over here to specifically Milwaukee and supporting this air show, it is a huge training opportunity for the pilots. To time on target in different locations, formation, flying, and all that has to get approved. So that is it is a big training opportunity. So not just coming out here to support, which is always amazing, and to showcase the assets of the United States Air Force, but actually get some viable training out here as well.
It certainly does speak to great credit to the people here in Milwaukee and here on Lake Michigan for the hospitality as well, because they often get lots of requests. Sometimes they can make it work, sometimes they're in out to exercise or whatever it might be, but for them to volunteer their time, we are very indeed grateful for their support of the 2025 Waterstone Bend Air and Water Show. The T-38's bugging out, they're heading back to NKE. They'll be with us for the rest of the weekend. But while we talk a lot about the T-38 being that trainer aircraft doing the frontline fighters, it's also an airplane that many pilots get their start in flying jet aircraft, even if they're not going to the fighters, such as some of the cargo aircraft as well. In just a moment, we are going to be seeing that of the Boeing C-17 Globemaster III. It joins us from Joint Base Charleston in South Carolina. And we're going to be seeing a full maneuvering capabilities by an aircraft that has been part of our United States Air Force since the early 1990s. And John, as you know, with the aircraft like the T-38, often you get your start in airplanes such as the T-6 Texan II, where you're really just learning the primary elements of flight, takeoffs, landings, navigation, some cross-country, some basic maneuvers, and that all helps support the effort of getting them into the T-38. And of course, becoming great pilots, those taking place at a variety of different bases across the Midwest and in the South as well. We talk about Air Force bases such as Vance or Shepherd's or whatever you might have, Laughlin, but the T-38 that I mentioned today comes to us from Langley and Beale, and we'll see more of them. You can see the big C-17 Globemaster III out there in front of us, and in just a couple of months we'll be turning things over to Captain Chuck Suarez, who will be telling you all about today's demonstration by the mighty C-17 Globemaster III, and this one is from Joint Base Charleston. It's now time for today's C-17 Globemaster III demo. Please make welcome that of Captain Chuck Suarez and your C-17 demonstration team. Hello, sir.
How's it going? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Captain Chuck Suarez, and it is my pleasure this afternoon to describe for you today's flight demonstration by America's premier airlifter, the Boeing C-17 Globemaster III. A short time ago, the C-17, operated by your East Coast demo team, performed a max effort takeoff from General Mitchell International Airport. This maneuver enabled the giant aircraft to reach an altitude of 1,000 feet, well before the departure into the runway. Parts capabilities such as these allow the C-17 to operate out of fossil fuels that are not suitable for other aircraft. Let's watch as the C-17 takes the skies here to the Milwaukee Air and Water Show. The crew will now form a high-speed pass. With the aircraft capable of accelerating over 350 miles per hour, this pass demonstrates the extremely powerful engines of this magnificent jet. The crew for today's demonstration is Captain Darren Gelson, call sign Slick, Lieutenant Colonel Tom Wagner, Captain Nate Shenel, and your hometown gal, Staff Sergeant Jackie Mamoya. We are based at Joint Base Charleston, South Carolina. This highly experienced crew has combined to a little over 10,000 flight hours with 12 deployments in support of combat and humanitarian missions throughout the world. The C-17, affectionately known as the Moose, was responsible for airlifting the majority of over 120,000 evacuees from Afghanistan during Operation Allies Refuge. In addition to their combat deployments, members of the crew are especially qualified to conduct specialized night, low-level, and high-altitude operations in contested environments in support of the Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff and President of the United States Special Operations Priority Missions. While the crew is maneuvering for the second pass, I'd like to share some facts about this amazing aircraft. C-17 made its first flight in September of 1991. Since then, the aircraft has set over 30 world records, including payload to altitude, time to climb, and the longest air drive mission in history. The new age design includes a modern computerized glass cockpit, heads-up displays at both pilot stations, and an advanced cargo handling system, allowing it to operate with a crew half the size of similar cargo aircraft. As you saw in the high-speed pass, the aircraft's engines work pretty quiet. This gives our operators a tactical advantage while flying low over hostile territory and allows for more suitable operations at airfields near heavily populated cities. This reliable airlifter combines the intercontinental cargo carrying capabilities of large aircraft, such as the C-5 Galaxy, with some short-field land capabilities of the much smaller C-130 Hercules. Now approaching from your left, the aircraft will perform a slow-speed pass. During your pass, please notice the wing leading-edge slats and large, power-lift wing flaps. These devices literally change the shape of the wing and are key to its low final approach speed, enabling this aircraft to land and stop in very short distances. Get your cameras ready, as this will be your best opportunity to take photos of this amazing state-of-the-art machine. The C-17 is powered by 4 Pratt & Whitney F-117 engines. Each engine delivers over 40,000 pounds of thrust. This amount of thrust allows the Globemaster III to carry over 170,000 pounds of cargo for an outstanding range of 2,400 nautical miles without utilizing air refueling. This is combined with 4 separate flight control computers, each capable of controlling the entire system independently. The system is designed to optimize the capabilities of the C-17, yet maintain enough redundancy to protect against the wide variety of failure conditions. Another feature of this amazing flight control system is that the aircraft can also be flown in entirely mechanical backup mode, further safeguarding against abnormal situations. As the aircraft approaches from your right, please notice the upturned wingtips or winglets. These decrease aerodynamic drag and increase fuel economy. Now, to give you a better idea of the aircraft's overall size, the winglets are nearly 9 feet tall. In case you wondered how big the C-17 is, the wingspan is roughly 170 feet. The tail is over 5 stories tall, and fully loaded, it weighs over 580,000 pounds. Now, none of our flying in the Air Force would be possible without our maintainers and flying crew chiefs. The chiefs we have on our team today are Staff Sergeant Brendan Simmons and Senior Airman Juliet Hunsinger. The C-17 is extremely maneuverable at both high and low speeds, making it easy to operate with any tactical situation. The C-17 operates with any matchup which is acceptable tactical maneuverability. All the maneuvers we've seen here today are examples of those flown by our operational air crews on a regular basis, as they provide the highly responsive and flexible airlift capability for America. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's demonstration. On behalf of the men and women of the United States Air Force, Air Mobility Command, and Joint Base Charleston, we thank you for being with us today. And we hope you enjoyed this brief look at the C-17 Globemaster III, the United States Air Force's core airlifter and workhorse, which will continue to provide rapid global mobility for America today, tomorrow, and well into the 21st century. Luke, back to you.
Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. A very big round of applause, if you would, for our United States Air Force and the C-17 Globemaster III, an aircraft the size of a hotel. Going by down the line, what an incredible sight that is, and let that Applause extend to Captain Chuck Suarez, the narrator for today's C-17 Globemaster III demonstration team. John, pretty cool stuff.
Oh, absolutely. You never get a chance to see that up close and personal over the water. So what an amazing show they put on. The capabilities of that aircraft are just amazing. And I know that when we would deploy and we'd look when our heavies come to pick up equipment as we're moving the F-22s around, you knew that you were getting taken care of when you saw Globemaster III put cargo on for you. So good ride, easy ride, and absolutely one of the most maneuverable heavy aircraft in the world.
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible asset. In fact, 14 tires on board the C-17, and they built it with the maintainers in mind. All the access panels are at a high level. You can actually pick up some of its landing gear for easy tire changes, but it allows that airplane to fly non-stop across the country with the aid of some air refueling. We're going to talk about that next, but also it can land on dirt, it can land on salt flats, and even ice for such a big airplane. And they have used it. It has flown and operated on every continent since production began back in 1991.
It is truly a remarkable aircraft. It really is. Just the maneuverability of it, and of course the ease of the maintenance on it as well. All of those tires, just a few more than we have on our Suburban, but making sure that our maintainers, United States Air Force, are able to change those tires out in any austere location and making sure that that aircraft is FMC, that is fully mission capable to continue to deliver cargo and personnel anywhere around the world with the aid of other instruments and assets that the United States Air Force and the Department of Defense have. And like you said, Luke, we're going to get an opportunity to hear that coming up next.
Well, the next airplane we're about to see, you can see out in front of us now, is another aircraft from the Boeing company. It is indeed the KC-135 Stratotanker. It's an aircraft that has been part of the U.S. Air Force inventory since the mid-1950s. Its job is to pass gas, and on behalf of the 128th Air Refueling Wing of your Wisconsin International Guard, we are very pleased to welcome the KC-135 to tell you all about today's demonstration. Please welcome that of Adam Yukon. Hello, Adam.
Hello, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Let's give it up for the guys doing such a wonderful job announcing today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and pride to share with you the backbone of the United States Air Force mobility fleet, the KC-135 Stratotanker. I am Lieutenant Colonel retired Adam Yukon, a former KC-135 instructor pilot from your very own Wisconsin Air National Guard's Bruce City Tankers. It is my privilege to guide you through today's KC-135 aerial demonstration. All 396 KC-135s in the U.S. Air Force inventory are operational and do fly a multitude of missions regularly. Whether it is an active duty, guard, or reserve crew, we are all capable and routinely called upon to provide air refueling and mobility support worldwide on short notice. The KC-135 Stratotanker provides the core aerial refueling capability for the United States Air Force and has excelled in this role for more than 60 years. This unique asset enhances the Air Force's capability to accomplish its primary mission of global reach. It also provides aerial refueling support to Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, and allied nation aircraft. Our crew today, taking off out of Milwaukee, your hometown team, is going to pass over from Show Center from behind us. That is something that we developed a few years back because we decided that we would like to show off the back of the airplane, which is the most important piece of equipment on the KC-135. That's the refueling booth, which we will have done. And if we're lucky today, maybe they'll show you a little bit of what it looks like to refuel at 26,000 feet and in speeds in excess of 500 miles per hour. Unfortunately, our friends from Madison today in the F-35 unit couldn't join us on the wing. It's a bummer because I'll tell you what, it is something else to behold, a KC-135 refueling in midair, especially in combat zones, which are occurring around the world as we speak. Thank goodness this is rehearsal day, because I get to rehearse my small talk with the city of Milwaukee. I'm sure everybody out there is enjoying such a beautiful day out here at Bradford Beach on Lake Michigan. I know I am, and I'm surrounded by a staff of true professionals. The guys talk about time over target, which is very important. And here they come right now to show you what that looks like. As you see, the tanker departs to the east. The boom is in full trail, and that yellow line and lights underneath that under the aircraft will direct the receiver where to go while in the refueling position. Interesting questions have come up about KC-135s and them doing the maneuvers that you'll see today. These are maneuvers that we regularly perform in the aircraft when we need to do basics in air refueling, landing and takeoff phases, whatever you can think of that we do, we are practicing these today. And you'll see them as we do our passes and complete our demonstrations. One of the cooler parts about your Milwaukee tankers is they each have individual tail art. Those tail art are local brands and community icons that have been around Milwaukee for decades. All right, as our KC-135 makes its initial pass, those four big CFM56 turbofan engines producing nearly 22,000 pounds of thrust take center stage. Mounted under the 35-degree swept wings, they can power the KC-135 to take off at gross weights of up to 322,000 pounds. A cargo deck above the refueling system can hold a mixed load of passengers and cargo. Depending on fuel storage configuration, the KC-135 can carry up to 83,000 pounds of cargo. Not bad for an old bird like the tanker. The air refueling boom is fully extended, and the boom operator will be connected with another aircraft if accomplishing aerial refueling. This aerial ballet is conducted thousands of times a year all over the globe. This low-level air refueling demonstration is normally conducted at much higher altitudes and faster airspeeds, up to 30,000 feet and 550 miles an hour. The history of Wisconsin Air National Guard's 128 air refueling of your hometown airports is one with a rich tradition. One of the most notable events was in 1963, when the 128 became the first Air National Guard unit to fly the venerable KC-135 Stratotanker. As time moved on, the 128 has piled up the accolades and combat experiences, dozens of unit deployments overseas, humanitarian aid missions, both locally and abroad, and countless stories over the Midwest and home of fine airmen of the 128 into an agile combat support unit. Air dominance starts with gas in the air. A few facts about the KC-135 that make it such a proven and durable workhorse of the mobility fleet. The KC-135 does far more than just offload gas, carry equipment, and transport personnel. We can act in a variety of medical operation roles as well. The center has become a staple of the 135's mission set. With its ability to fly faster and farther than nearly any other mobility aircraft, the KC-135 became a prime-time player in the world of aeromedical evacuation support. Of just over 130 feet and a length of over 136 feet, the KC-135 has perfectly logistical footprint to fit in smaller spaces than its larger, now retired KC-10 and KC-46 refueling cousins. One of the most important aspects about the KC-135 is the support structure it takes to get any airplane airborne. Our maintenance personnel, especially those at the 128, are unparalleled in ability, enthusiasm, and drive. They take a nearly 7-year-old aircraft and get it flying every single day. Imagine trying to take a 7-year-old car and make it your daily driver. That is what these folks do. It is nearly miraculous, but that is their mission. They are true fuel that wins the fight. This pass is something you like to run the 30 minutes. Today, one would send a little hello to everyone in attendance. That crew being pilots Lieutenant Colonel Carson Hardesty, Major Chris Coffin, and group operators Senior Master Sergeant Brad Love and Staff Sergeant Sam Carter. They make up the primary crew on board today and are all Wisconsin natives. For those of you at Show Center, this is a perfect time to get your camera out as the KC-135 flies over the parts to the northwest. We hope you enjoyed this brief demonstration of the KC-135 Stratotanker capabilities. The 900 Airman, the 128, thank you for your continued support and look forward to serving our community for years to come. Seek us out on the web or socials by searching the 128 Air Water and see them from there.
Gentlemen, a very big round of applause for your Wisconsin Air National Guard. Today's performance is about 35. And our thanks as well to Lieutenant Colonel retired down at Utah. Appreciate you, sir, very, very much indeed. Well, did you like KC-135, everybody? What a cool aircraft indeed. I tell you, that aircraft, John Lugo, so incredibly important to the mission of getting airplanes where they need to go. In fact, when that refueling boom is extended, they can turn on the fuel pumps on that aircraft at a rapid rate. It can provide more gas through that boom than a normal car takes in over a year. That's how much fuel it offloads.
They absolutely deliver fuel on time, on target to all of our fighters and other refuelers as well, since they're able to transfer from aircraft Department of Defense brothers and sisters. The awesome part of that aircraft that I truly love is just being able to witness what the boom operators, which Adam spoke about, being down there and actually flying the boom. Yeah. What a great experience, and the maintainers and the operation capability and the crew that's on there. You just get an awesome view, and when you see an F-22 Raptor, F-35 Lightning II, it's just incredible to see air-to-air refueling right there. What a feat, and I've been extremely blessed in my career to see it multiple times. So being able to see it from out here, being able to see what I saw inside is just truly remarkable.
Yes, indeed. Well, it is now time that we change the pace and keep our rehearsal action going here at 2025 Waterstone Bank Air and Water Show here at Bradford Beach. And in just a moment, we're going to go back to World War II with our next aircraft, that being, and this is a truly rare sight indeed, that of the consolidated PB4Y-2 Privateer. This was the Navy's long-range patrol bomber. It was a derivative of the famous B-24 Liberator, but with some pretty big changes. It was the standout maritime patrol airplane for the U.S. Navy as well as the U.S. Coast Guard during World War II, almost like World War II's version of perhaps the P3 Orion or the P8 Poseidon, the 737 variant that performs those missions in modern day. And while you might know the aircraft best as a B-24, they call it the Liberator, the Army Air Corps, the Navy wanted a version that was tailored to the long-range flights over vast amounts of open water. So around 1944, just about a year before the end of World War II, the engineers took the Liberator, being manufactured and built at Willow Run Airport outside of Detroit, Michigan, and transformed it into a long-range maritime patrol bomber. That's the aircraft that we are going to see next. This airplane, fairly large indeed, with a wingspan of 110 feet. Not as big as perhaps the KC-135 or certainly the C-17 that we saw, but this was in fact the Navy's largest four-engine patrol aircraft during World War II, and we're going to have a chance to see that next. This is one of the only flying privateers still in airworthy condition today. The crew today being flown by that of B.J. Milwaukee and Boyd Gallagher. Boyd's a guy who's flying actually the aircraft this afternoon, and his father built, or I should say flew this airplane flying forest fire missions as well as his brother as well. We can see it now, high and to the left. Here it comes, the patrol bomber of World War II. It is the consolidated PB4Y-2 Privateer. This aircraft was built for versatility. The Navy utilized the privateer as a communications relay, radar and radio filter, weather recon airplane, submarine and search and rescue planes. The aircraft today does the job, which of course specializes in search and rescue, or SOC for short. The privateer's fuselage was stretched about 10.5 feet longer than the B-24. That allowed space on board for advanced electronics and a dedicated flight engineer station, keeping a good eye on all the engine instruments and the aircraft's well-being and health was very vital when flying over the expanses of the open ocean. Under the cabins of this radio engine maritime craft, she runs on 4 Pratt & Whitney R1830 twin-washed radio engines, each having some 1,300 horsepower. Those radios giving the privateer the power through some 1,300 miles on patrol missions, often flying on land bases across the Pacific. It was during the war years of 1940 to 1945. America was resilient to get the job done. And believe it or not, around 300,000 aircraft were built across the globe, as many of our manufacturing plants went from building washing machines and refrigerators to bombs, bombers, and bullets. Again now, from the left, we'll parade past this, the consolidated privateer. Again, flown by B.J. Milwaukee and Boyd Gallagher. Quite a spirit displayed by this very large maritime patrol bomber. Big round of applause for the crew of B.J. Milwaukee and Boyd Gallagher. They're now going to reposition the privateer again inbound from our right as we see addition passes by this aircraft. The privateer entered service late in World War II, with the first deliveries actually starting in 1944. It was ready for those final campaigns in the Pacific Theater, helping to patrol those vast ocean areas. Fighting the ships and helped clear the seas from Allied forces. After After the war, the Privateer was pulled back into service during the Korean conflict, flying at night to overcome that environment to drop parachute flares, lighting the way for Allied troops and aircraft that earned the nickname of that of the Lakefront. The Privateer also flew missions with French colonial forces in Indochina, and of the 739 privateers that were built, with most delivered after World War II had ended, this one we are seeing today, one of the only ones still in airworthy condition. We are very thrilled to have it with us here this weekend. This airplane represents that testament to the ingenuity of wartime engineering, designed to stretch the original B-24 Liberator's roll capabilities and make it as the go-to long-range patrol bomber. You will notice now from the right that the pilots have extended the landing gear and flaps, a relatively slow speed flight to give you a great look at this very rare and most important maritime patrol area. The United States Navy and the Coast Guard during World War II. This airplane here, the name of that came on to be a little bit later on its development. The Navy, they wanted to call it the Sea Liberator. Well, that name never really stuck, and the term privateer, in fact, references loosely the privately owned armed ships, mercenaries for hire, if you will, that some governments would commission to attack enemy vessels. It's a fitting name for this long-range patrol bomber that would hunt those enemy ships and subs. As the Privateer comes around once again, you will see that big vertical fin on the rear. This gave the Privateer better stability and handling over the ocean compared to the twin tail of its original predecessor, the B-24 Liberator. And unlike the Liberator, the Privateer had a dedicated engineer station behind the pilot and the co-pilot. And of course, that flight engineer monitoring those systems, the engine performance, fuel, and managed those very long and in some cases remarkably uninspiring flights. Those flights at times would last up to 12 hours or more in duration. Long patrols over the ocean meant that crew bonding was, well, essential. It was more or less required. Some crews would bring guitars, books, or even would start their own radio stations on board to keep the spirits high on those 12-plus hour missions. This aircraft carried a variety of equipment on board, radio equipment, and they got creative when they would transmit, let's just say, some informal messages, some music snippets or jokes to other aircraft in the squadron or back to base. There's a great pass, just about 100. There is the consolidated Privateer, the PB4Y-2. This four-engine aircraft that we were seeing, part of the last generation, piston-powered bombers, were the jets took over the naval control role, working together in World War II, and later what became the Cold War. While the bomber with each one, which got us spot on, and we were bombers going, the Privateer is in fact the longest piston-powered naval control bomber built. The crew now working their way up to altitude out of the aerobatic box. A very spirited performance indeed. A very nice round of applause, if you would, for Brian Beecham, Milwaukee, and Boyd Gallant, the pilot of our Privateer. We, of course, fly these airplanes to remember the sacrifices made by those who gave the ultimate sacrifice in the defense of our. We do not fly the airplanes that glorify war, but rather tell the stories of those veterans, and we salute all here today. How about a nice round of applause to all of those vets joining us on today, our rehearsal day, at the 2025 Waterstone Bay Air and Water Show. Well, they're out of the box as our air show action continues. Our rehearsal. Well, I got a quick question for you, Milwaukee. Are you having a good time? John, that was decent, but not super.
You know, I heard my oldest daughter over there, Lily, but I didn't hear anyone else, so maybe you can try again, huh?
Yeah, it is indeed an outdoor event, so you can indeed use your outdoor voice. Are you, Milwaukee, having a good day? Yeah. There we go. That's much better. Well, we still have lots to come on our rehearsal show today. An opportunity for our pilots to check out the airspace. And for those of you who are with us, consider yourselves lucky. It'll get pretty busy down here for both tomorrow and Sunday for our full shows as part of the 2025 Waterstone Bank Air and Water Show. And I'll tell you, a big event on the calendar each and every year. As we continue to progress, we want to remind you to make sure that you stay hydrated, you stay comfortable, keep the sunscreen going, drink up on plenty of fluids, water especially, and do yourselves a favor and not look like a crustacean when you go home today. Now, we want you, one, to come back for the weekend, and we want you going home feeling comfortable. So please do indeed take care of yourself. Additionally, we hope you're getting a ton of great pictures and videos of the show thus far and are using the hashtag of the day, and that is hashtag Waterstone Bank Air and Water Show. It's a really long hashtag, but we want you to tag all the pictures and videos of today's show, whether that be Facebook, X, or Instagram. We would love to see your point of view and all the great pictures you've got. So don't forget to hashtag and tag. We would love to see your content very much indeed. Well, in just a few moments, we are going to be working our way up above Bradford Beach as we welcome next to our show the members of the United States Air Force Academy Wings of Blue Parachute Team. They join us from Colorado Springs in Colorado, and soon we will be seeing a full demonstration by the Wings of Blue and their skydiving skills as they exit the C-130 Hercules aircraft that will be working their way inbound next. Following that, we'll welcome from the United States Air Force again the F-22 Raptor demonstration team with Captain Nick Laz Letourneau at the controls. We'll see our United States Air Force Heritage Flight Michael Rappin returns in the extra 300 at about 2:30, and at 3 o'clock today, our United States Navy Flight Demonstration Squadron, the Blue Angels. Still to come as part of our rehearsal show. We again want to say thanks to Waterstone Bank, welcoming you to today's Air and Water Show, your local community bank with 14 convenient locations. Our thanks to Waterstone Bank. Also thanks to Quick Trip. They're proud to be a sponsor of today's show. Keep your day on track with meals, snacks, fuel, and more only at Quick Trip. Thanks also to Building, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. They've been a southeastern Wisconsin household name in the HVAC business since 1929. You can stop by their booth this weekend to learn more about their services. Also thanks to Carmex, Carmex Lip Balm, proudly crafted in Franklin, Wisconsin since 1937. Thanks also to our friends at Beer Capital, to Bubba, the Hearing Live, Dave and Buster's, Thanks to Eagle Sports, Trinity Construction, Actio, IBM Company, and the Wisconsin Lottery. Thanks to Butcher, to Air Force Logistics and Wheels Down, KM Tours, Astronautics, Desert Air, Nucor, P-Flow Industries, Casdor Property Management, Beacon Building Products, Full Stop Technics, and Tracer Repair. We say thanks to all of our partners for their support in the 2025 Waterstone Bank and Watershed. Well, in just a moment, we are about to welcome that of the Wings of Blue and today's skydiving demonstration. The next voice that you will hear will be that of Technical Sergeant Jesse Waldron, the narrator of the Wings of Blue. Hercules from the Elmo International Guard working its way inbound now from the left on board members of the Wings of Blue parachute team as we prepare for their job. Let's just take a look now as this aircraft, the C-130 Hercules, approaches. This is an airplane that's been also part of the U.S. Air Force for many, many decades indeed, making its first flight back in 1954.